In the Forging Terminus stream, My Visionary Realms, in December of 2021, a new dungeon known as The Gate was unveiled, a glimpse into a higher-end dungeon that would eventually be found in the world of Terminus. Whilst visually impressive at an early age, it has struck a chord with me, even with its initial designs. I feel that this element is a visually striking sort of a dungeon, but also a good example of how the mechanics of this game will function in such an environment and terrain. I'll preface the video by stating that I won't be elaborating on the lore behind the gate, nor will I be looking into the interior art of design for the dungeon. I feel these elements are not what excites me personally, but I still think that you should look into the lore and feel of the area, as there's certainly something to behold. What I will do, however, is I will look into the current images of the physical exterior that we've been shown in its early state, and into why I feel that our first view into the gate is something to be excited for. I'll be using 2 still images from the video, all of which were from the Forging Terminus stream. So without further ado, let's get into these images. Our first image is a still from the panning Vigil taken at the start of the footage. Naturally, this is going to be an overlooking view that will be changed throughout the course of the iterations of the zone, but there are already few elements to talk about. Firstly, the depth of view of the zone in question, which may give its change with further assets shown for a more complete area, gives us already a good indication about the size and where the gate is situated. The scope of the zone at the time appears to be limited to the degree which may or may not be limited by field of view or potential weather limitations, but to see the raw distances involved is frankly awe-inspiring. It leads to the circumstances that potential spots and vistas could similarly be found throughout the world of Terminus, which makes me happy to no end. With a more fleshed out zone, there is inevitably going to be more to see, and once the further amount of assets are placed in. But this also does lead nicely to the main design point, which I feel is taken into account in this shot: verticality. Verticality, in my opinion, is one of the more important features when setting a mood and feeling for a specific location, especially when set on a vista or any raised area like this. Despite my involuntary terror of higher up places in real life, we are given a glimpse into the way that vertical landscape will play a factor. From the heights to the ground below, we can take note of the relative position and limited information we have available. Getting to the gate will be a journey in and of itself, even before we are able to start the long process of delving into its depths and secrets. The height of the dungeon entrance as well is a smart decision to utilise, because it allows for the additional space and height versus any potential world limitations that the game might have. I personally would also say it's quite unique to find a dungeon entrance at the top rather than the bottom. I've always had experiences of going into a dungeon with the progression being from bottom to top or bottom downwards, but I cannot recall an experience where the main progression would be from getting from the top of a mountain down, going into its depths in such a setting. All in all, I feel it's an experience that would make me excited to understand what the future of the gate might hold. But we'll also look at the front of house, i.e. the plaza area of the gate, in a little bit more detail taken from the stream. Our initial view of the front of house comes with some minor redlining images, a potential view of how some of the environmental detailing that we might see with an eventual release. But the tone is set well by the use of motes and mortar and the sparse but present outlines in the trees and surroundings. Curiously, we note that unlike the standard and pan image that we saw in the original sort of still, there are designs for the pace for the bridge to be ruined between the first and main plaza. This is an exact key element that what I'm loving about the designs of how these areas will be, which is how the players will traverse the environment. Even in the standard route, with a little bit of assumption, may be fraught with a little bit of difficulty in actually able to get there. So whilst the bridge being down may not be an issue, potentially due to some classes having abilities such as the Druid, which will allow the party to progress up into the entrance proper, what might happen with parties that might forget to bring such a party member? Well, I feel this is where the climbing system in the game will be a blessing in disguise for these parties. Whilst it may be more difficult, there are clear indications that there are ledges and plateaus off the side of the main plaza that are shown that could be potentially ways up for the rock face, in line with how the function of the climbing feature in this game currently and presently works. Obviously, without further shots of the alternative side of the plaza, we can't speculate if there are going to be any other ways to get up this other side. But for now, we'll need to leave that to our imaginations and the hopeful time in Terminus, but it is a key and present example about how the features of this game are being worked into the terrain design, and how there is inevitably going to be more than one way to get to your exit, or your area of destination in some cases. All in all, I'm truly excited for what the gate might bring to the table in terms of the way that our experience in Terminus might shape up. Whilst I've not covered or looked into the other dungeons that are currently available, revisiting some of the already unveiled dungeons alongside commenting on their updates is of interest to me, and I might revisit this in the near future. Pantheon continues to inspire me to make content like this, and with 2022 being declared with the word of imminence by many, it will be a good year to keep an eye on this game and how Visionary Realms takes Pantheon into 2022. Hi, Recent Revelry. Thank you for watching the video. If you have liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and there should be some other videos down below. If there aren't, then I clearly haven't done the card right. But otherwise, thank you for watching the video. It has meant a lot to me, and hope to see you again soon. Feel free to comment if you have any comments regarding what you'd like to see or regarding the video. Otherwise, hope you have a lovely day, and take care. Thank you.